Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group, and today we have one of the Wichita City Councilmen on. Who do we have here?
Mike Hoheisel, City Council, District 3, Southeast Wichita.
Hey, Mike. Uh, First of all, because I tell people my people nosy, they want to know everything. So,
Right.
so let's begin with my usual. Let's go back to kindergarten and tell my audience who you are. Uh, Talk about how you grew up. Some of the mentors in your life that help you develop to where you're at. Then once we get over all of that, then we start talking about uh, what your role is as a city councilman and what your goals and aspirations are for your district and for the city.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for inviting me. I grew up at Pawnee and Broadway, South Wichita, which is used to be a historic highway that went through Wichita, was the Broadway corridor. So plenty of hotels there. Once the highway moved, we have open hotels and some not so good things that go on in those hotels. Also, used car lots. That's essentially the neighborhood I grew up in. Um, lower economic class, poverty. A very mixed neighborhood as far as racial demographics go. 11 siblings. Nice Catholic family. So um, really interesting time growing up, but also seeing just how a community continues to fall farther and farther behind um, the rest of the city or some of the newer and more developed parts of the city. Also, I saw growing up just a lack of um, mental health care, a lack of attention towards people who have addiction issues, and the homeless population, because my district is also one of the battlegrounds for the number of homeless we have. So um, that kind of helped stimulate me and get me involved in some things. Also,
Run
voting.
down, breaking you off. You getting into your political stuff. Run down what schools you went to, what middle schools and all of that. And as I said, there are individuals that shaped you. Give them their props.
Oh, well, okay. Longfellow Elementary School, great community school. Middle school was a Mayberry Magnet School, a global magnet school, which gave me a lot of different perspectives on what went on. West High School, West High, um, on the wrestling team, the football team, the baseball team. I lettered in 5 sports in high school, so
Mm.
um, and a very religious background too. Grew up Catholic, so uh, my priest at my church, Father Kent Hemberger, who passed away a couple of years ago, very civic minded. He stayed away from politics. He talked about stewardship in the community. What are we going to do for the community? So there wasn't a lot of the politics that seeped into it. Also, my granddad, our dad skipped out on us. My granddad, who Korean vet, he grew up on the farm during the Depression. After he got out of the army, he worked at Boeing for the rest of his life. Um, he looked out for us like nobody else. That's who I
What's
named my
his
son
name?
after.
Give our audience what his name. Shout out from the baby boy.
Yeah, Henry Hoheisel. Henry Hoheisel. And just a great dude. And you don't realize it when you're growing up. It's one of those unfortunate things to where you got to get some perspective. You got to get some gray in your beard before you can really look back and appreciate what that older generation gave us and what they were trying to teach us. And also be mindful of how we appear to the younger crowd, how I'm looking to my kids. And, it's not going to sink in now. It's going to be 20 years down the road. And they're going to be like, yeah, dad was right about this one here. So, yeah, baseball coaches, man, people understood kind of the background and where we came from. So there were a lot of people. Steve Heward, one of my baseball coaches, really looked after me like a dad as well. Unfortunately, passed from cancer a little over 20 years ago. But Yeah, just so many
but
great
it's
people.
still resonating with you right now. So
Yes, sir.
obviously,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again, you take those lessons and you try and be that for the next generation. Try and pass it forward in that way.
so you've been on the council since 2022.
Yes, sir. Yep.
2026 is your out date.
Well, I can run for another term in 2025. So 2026 would be the end of this term, depending on if I run again and if the voters will have me around for a second term.
All right. So, uh, you, as far as I'm concerned, your district that you described is like the third district and the fifth district in Kansas City for people of color and what have you, underserved on health issues, on uh, all across the board, redlining type
Yeah.
situations, lack of really the things that you paying your taxes for being taken care in your district. So uh, let's talk about your district and what some of your aspirations are and some of the things that you're trying to make happen. Run it
I
down.
appreciate it. My district, we have 6 districts in Wichita, and District 1, which is a predominantly historic Black district, and my district are the 2 lowest income districts in the city. My district has the second highest number of African Americans, the second highest number of Latinos, the second highest number of Asian Americans, and the highest number of Native Americans. So it's a very beautiful melting pot, but sometimes it creates a conflict in where some of the resources have gone in the past. So we've been working on that the last couple of years. One of the neighborhoods that's closest to my heart is Plainview. We recently got $10 million. We scraped together for through some parks projects and some future projects to actually put a neighborhood resource center, a world-class neighborhood resource center in that district. So that's one of the things I'm proudest of. Also, on our end of town, we have the sewage treatment plant, which has been breaking down and emitting odors like credible smells for the last generation or 2 generations, really.
Hmm.
We are to cap that here in 2026 and eliminate 98% of the odor from that sewage treatment plant. Also, we are looking at ways to purchase some of those hotels I talked about along the South Broadway corridor and turn them into affordable housing for people. Because it's unfortunate because you go into those hotels and you have police there that are dealing with people doing meth and cooking meth. And there's also school buses that pull into the same parking lot because there's lower income and poor people that are living there. So we can't just do away with the hotels. We got to do something to make sure that we have affordable housing for people who need it. Quite frankly, because if they don't have housing there, it's going to contribute to our homeless population, and that is real unfortunate, especially when we're talking about women and children. Those are the classes that we absolutely positively need to protect and make sure that they always have some place to go and some pathway out of poverty into stable housing and stable livelihoods.
So, who are some of your partners that you're partnering with?
Councilmember Johnson, Brandon Johnson, District 1, he's been here for this is his 7th year, so he'll be termed out at the end of next year. He's a couple of years younger than I am, but he's also the senior council member at this time. So I guess the gray in the beard doesn't count for too much sometimes.
Counts for a
Uh,
whole lot, as far as I'm concerned. Look at mine.
I hear you there. I hear you there.
And one thing that I really could appreciate, I wanted to break in when you was talking about good Catholic family and all of this. And I remember when I was small and in fifth grade in Catholic school, the damn nuns just spanking my hands. And hey, if you don't want to learn, you still gonna learn.
I gotta avoid most of that. I still went to public schools, but, PSR and CCD, that yeah, the nuns don't hold back. I You gotta love the sisters, but, they,
It just more it shot back memories to me. Uh, I'm from New York and lived in the Bronx, and uh, where we lived, the church was right up the street, and my mother would send me to church on Sunday and put her head out the window to see me go into the church and say some Hail Marys for me.
yeah, it always makes me think of, Blues Brothers, going back
I I like that.
going back and visiting the penguin, right?
So, how do you see the corporate community working with your district? You got the Koch brothers right there. They got all the money that the Mint got. What are they doing as it relates to low income and people that are disadvantaged? Or are they doing anything?
They are actually pretty forward thinking when it comes to criminal justice reform. They've helped us with some of the getting people their driver's licenses back. They were pretty instrumental in that. They've helped with some of oh I'm trying to think of the days essentially the days that will forgive people of their warrants if they're
Mhm.
lower established warrants, and they can come in and get their fines or violations taken care of. So they do some things out there in regards to criminal justice that I am very appreciative of. Most of the corporate giving around this city does go to places like the zoo, Botanica, some of our parks. The Koch brothers do have a all access playground they put in Sedgwick County Park on the other side of town. The city of Wichita, we are actually putting one. Two,
I like how the other side of town. Across
we
the
are putting
railroad tracks, baby boy.
we are putting one in the city park, a $2 million all inclusive playground, just down the street from my house, Clap Park, where we're going to have trampolines for kids in wheelchairs, zip lines for kids in wheelchairs, timeout pods for kids who have autism and they can't necessarily be around large crowds. There's going to be a lot of great things with that park as well. So, getting a little off topic here. I get
No,
so
that's
excited
on.
about
Hold it. No, that's on topic on our show. What
it.
you're doing, how you doing it. Cascade Media was formed in well, this part of it, 212. It was to give a voice to the voiceless because the all these people we talking about, most of them, they have access to the media. They have access to good health. They have access to good grocery stores that are selling fresh products. You know,
Right,
so I get it. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Really, I come from your same background, bro. I'm telling you.
right. It's tough to get in the it's tough to get out there, ain't it? Just
Boy, tough. They trying to make it impossible right now because the rich people that have the money, they still want to be on welfare, not called welfare for them. And
yeah,
that's an issue across this world, not just in our own little enclaves. You know, now I don't want you throwing nobody under the bus or praising nobody per se, but give me the rundown on the new mayor. They look like that they might want to do something. I have her coming on the show. Uh, I don't have my schedule in front of me, but run that down. What is your relationship and how is that working out and what you got to
well,
say on that?
I was good friends with the previous mayor from, before either of us really got into politics. So I do wanna start off by saying that, I've been happy working with the new mayor so far. She's stuck to her word as far as public engagement, listening to people, getting out there. We are of different political ideologies, but when you really get down to, um, like the city level, the municipal level, 90% of the things that you're working on are shared goals and shared beliefs, and we got to figure out how to accomplish that. So there's not as big of a political divide, I think, when it comes to city governance.
I'm
So
glad to hear that because little people were whispering in my ear. I was like, where did this lady come from? And she looked like she's a baby. And then they was like, the Koch brothers. And then, hold on, we speak truth to power. I don't know whether that's the truth or not, but as far as I was concerned, the Koch brothers don't have a good rep in my book because they started all that really what Trump has become right now. And I'm not a Republican or Democrat, but I am an American and
right,
this is my country. And when you see the people that have money using the money to for influence and different things, and they've been patient at what they've been doing from a political standpoint. And when the people mention Koch brothers with the new mayor, I was like, well, I could see how she got in again because she came out the clear blue sky as far as I'm concerned. Now I don't know what's happening on that end. Was the community really knew who she was, and had she participated in any civic things before she ran?
well, she was a newspaper or a news reporter for um, Cake Channel 10 and KWCH Channel 12. She had done a fair amount of public engagement and knew her way around, so she's not completely out of the blue. A lot of people did recognize her from her time on the news.
All right.
Um, and again, I think it just really talks about you never know what you don't know until you get into office and you're starting to get faced with a lot of adversity and a lot of issues that you need to fix. So I'll admit it too. Like when I was running for office, I had a whole platform full of here's how we're going to address, food insecurity. Here's how we're going to address transit. And then you get in here and you're faced with the realities of budget. You're faced with the realities of sometimes you have what you think are good ideas and they just don't work. So it really sobers you up and kind of removes you from the political process if you're really trying to get things done for the people. You really
How
start
have
to,
you been able to gel with your colleagues? Because you can't do nothing in politics unless you can put that coalition together.
yep, yep, and that is one of the issues you got to look at. My brother is a state representative. So he's up in Topeka in Kansas. He's a Republican. I'm a Democrat. So we have a lot of conflict going back and forth with each other sometimes. It's family, so you're not gonna.
But hold it. But see, that's family. But at the same time, that's America.
Yeah,
That's what we were built on. No one flavor for everybody.
right.
Cause you
Yeah,
don't like strawberry, don't mean I don't like it.
right. And he's one of 125 in the house. I am one of 7. So if I want to get something done, I have to have good relations with the rest of my colleagues. And we're here all the time. Our offices are within 100 feet of each other, the doors. So we're walking by each other's doors all the time. Keep them open. We have good relations with each other, regardless of our political leanings. So again, we all want to see the number of murders and shootings go down to
That
nothing.
was my next question. Cause here in Kansas City, man, they killing people every day like, it's nothing. What's going on with that the murder rate up there?
It's a little bit higher than it has been last year. This is a nationwide thing. I think there's a lot that goes into it. People stressing from inflation, people stressing from the COVID shutdowns. We have not addressed mental health on any sort of meaningful level in quite some time. I think there's something in social media kind of getting the kids and they don't know how to interact with each other like in generations past. So our murder rate is up from where it has been in the past, but we are working on a number of things. We have a violence interrupter program that's going to start here soon, where it's a group from Chicago who they've had positive results throughout the country, and we hire people who have been in gangs or have been out on the streets who have reformed themselves. They've been through the process. They know this is not where you want to go. This is not how the road you want to go down. And they're going to get in with the kids who we have identified as gang members or family members are gang members or right in the area. So we're going to embed them with these people, these kids mostly, and try and talk to them. You don't want to retaliate if somebody gets shot. You don't want to throw your life away. So
Away.
yeah,
See, like I said, I come from that environment. I come from the drug environment, the stick up man, and all of that, and participated in a lot of that crap. But uh, understanding that the system wasn't built for me or people like me,
yeah,
and it's no accident that I fall in that category.
hmm,
It's just like a change machine. You throw all the change in the change machine, there's a hole for the quarter, hole for the dime, the penny, and everything else. And it's designed that way. And as I tell people of color, it's no coincidence that 99% of every black person has somebody in their family that's been incarcerated or that's been on drugs or what have you. Because
yeah,
when they were making the war on drugs, they was locking us up.
yeah,
But when the majority community start using all these amphetamines and all
yeah.
of this other stuff, now it's a health problem.
They go to
Eh,
rehab.
Yeah,
If you if
and
you if you if you
not
do
only
crack,
is it a health problem, they have health insurance to help take care of
yeah,
the problem.
yeah,
And so those are the type of things, like I said, my company, we like speaking truth to power with the people that are willing to do that. And I feel real comfortable that you haven't come on with all that political crap that because I usually tell politicians I'm a gangster posing as a businessman. So please don't come on with your rap.
no,
Tell my audience what's going on so that they can work with you on fixing some of these problems.
no, you're not lying. Like if you do crack, you go to jail. If you do coke, you go to rehab. We 2 years ago, we essentially decriminalized marijuana. So if it's not intent to sell, you're not driving, it's not attached to a felony. We pulled it out of our ordinance. We can't legalize it because that's a state level and the state overrules us, but we can make it to where we're not going to ticket
They
people.
overrule you because your brother is one of how many?
I'm telling you, I'm telling you. But at the time, the black population in Wichita is about 10%. 44% of the tickets being written for marijuana possession was black people. So to me, that's a criminal justice issue, and we pulled it out of our ordinance. And that way, you don't have it on your record. So when you do grow up and you outgrow some of these things, you can get a job somewhere. You don't have a drug offense because it's so messed up on the federal level that you're going to have a Schedule One drug offense on there for having a joint.
Hey Mike,
So
that is what. Let me tell you this: when I started this company, because like I said, gangster posing as a businessman, I was very reluctant. I was like, because I have the largest black-owned digital sports company in the nation, Cascade Sports. Go there, and started that in '08, and you're dealing with kids, and I was getting ready to let my past dictate my future. I was like, man, you can't that somebody's going. And so I keep that out front on everything. I did everything, but I don't do it now. And
right,
and I did it because they kept putting these shiny objects in front of me, cars, jewelry, all of these things, and I didn't have no way to get it. And that was the way they provided because they knew what that would end. So at the end of the day, you know, a lot of us need to hear that I'm like, look what I'm doing now.
Right.
Yeah. And you gotta want to do better. And when you know better, you do better.
And provide that example. Because if you look around your neighborhood and the people that are going and working, working bagging groceries are making $7 an hour, but the people, selling pot are making $200 a day, 2 plus 2 equals 4. So we got to have those examples in the community. You don't have to grow up this way. This can also be, you can have this path to become a doctor or RN, or you could have this path to become a businessman or somebody involved in the media. So we need to make sure that kids have the hope that the way their life is currently or what they see day to day, that doesn't have to be them in the future.
I'm going to close out with this because this is really my belief on the redlining poverty and all of this. At the end of the day, and violence and the crime, it's an economic issue, and don't nobody really want to really talk about that. The economics are the bedrock of what's really causing all of these problems, and that means providing really equal opportunity
Right.
with equal pay, and a lot that would stop a lot of things because people be at work.
Right.
And this is how I describe the system. You can agree or disagree. See, first of all, black people and poor white people, you don't own anything.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, when you buy that car, you don't own the finance company, the bank, or anything. You're chaining yourself to the system because now you got to pay for that car. You buy that house, now you got to pay for that house. So now when you go to work and the boss or the different petty power pushers tell you some things you don't like, you have to swallow it
Right.
because you got to pay those bills. And
Yep.
so the system has been designed and you don't even see it.
Well, it also speaks to generational wealth.
Yeah,
How
that's what
many
I'm basically.
Yeah, how many people have a trust? How many people have an inheritance from their parents? If your parents are renting the whole lives, they don't have that house to pass down to you. You don't have a cushion, so that way, man, this job isn't for me. Let me go find something I'm better suited for. But no, you can't do that because you're living month to month.
Huh.
So I hear what you're saying there. It is. You definitely see, and that's the part with the reparations that people are talking about. Is there's a lot of generational wealth that was denied to people. A lot of families, you could look at it like back pay,
But
you know,
I think it's a fruitless effort. All I have to do is look at the history of this country. All I have to do is look at who runs the country, and then all I have to do is look at uh, what the legal system is. These lawyers make a right or wrong, a wrong or right. The accountants can massage the numbers, make everything look real nice, but nothing is changing.
right? We're just going to keep plugging away
Yeah,
and doing
well,
the
that's
best
what
we can.
you, myself, and like-minded people,
Yeah,
because I'm more like you keep talking about the kids. The kids, they murdered 50 kids 50 years ago in the schoolyard. Y'all ain't done nothing. Every time it's just our sympathies go out, our this and
right.
that. But do we really have the political will to stop this? And you a politician, you can tell me more so than any because you've been in the trenches for a minute. Do you think that we have the political will to change this for real, for real?
I think so. I think one of the main things holding us back is a lot of times we try things and we put our political capital at risk trying things.
Oh,
If we knew if we knew what would really honestly work, because if you go, we had a forum on homelessness 2 days ago, and the room was packed, and we allowed people to come up and talk. We had maybe 30 people come up and talk, and we probably had 25 different suggestions as far as this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. If you did this, this problem would be solved. Um, it it's like I was talking earlier about food insecurity. I thought endorsing and providing infrastructure for community gardens would do a lot for that. Honest truth is I was wrong, because a lot of times we get these gardens started, it's good for a couple of months, and then people just lose interest. And next thing you know, it's falling off. So, um, the thing we need to do is we need to continue to look around, we need to continue to try, and we need to see what is working elsewhere and try and duplicate that. So I think most people across the board, especially on the local level, my colleagues in the city, my colleagues in the county level, we're all good people and we do want to do something that works. Of course, there's going to be conflict as to what we think will work or not. But if we see the truth, if we see what will actually work, I'm convinced most of us will follow that. So it's heartbreaking. Nobody wants to see. We had a 1-year-old get shot and died because of some domestic violence issues in my district, just a couple of days ago.
hmm.
Not a single person here wants that to happen. Not a single person felt good or felt nothing about that. And if we knew for sure what to do to solve that crisis, we would do it. So we just got to keep working, and things get better. Sometimes things get worse, but I think for the most part, things get better. And I'm looking forward to the day that everybody can look at our flag and say, I belong to this. This is my country. This is my society. I belong. I'm equal. I have my part in this. I don't have to assimilate, but I will still be heard and valued in my community. So just keep working for that. The day is going to come. I'm going to drop dead. Hopefully, I'm knocking on the pearly gates, and hopefully, they say you made a difference in the lives of people in your community. So that's all we can do until then is work as hard as we can and do right as best as we see.
Hey, Mike. I hate to. I keep stealing my co-host closing. I hate to do it, but it's so nice. He's always saying, Jim Watts is always like, "It's a plum pleasing pleasure having you on the show." Hey, Mike, I'll be like, "Hey, Jim, cut out all the niceties, man." But as
Uh,
we always close, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
yes, sir.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.